Welcome to the January Fire PO. This month we'll be covering two topics. Our first topic is our normal January PO, which covers bunker gear inspections. In addition, we're going over our new Scott 5.5 air packs.
In addition to that, we'll be starting with a new segment this year based on the NFPA 1500 Health and Safety Standard for fire departments. This segment this month will be based on cancer in the fire service and various ways to avoid exposures to carcinogens in the field.
We hope you enjoy the video.
On January 13, 1969, our department responded to a large fire at the Everglades Fertilizer Plant at 2000 West Broward Boulevard. Over 3 days, crews were exposed to tons of burning chemicals that produced immense amounts of toxic smoke. Over the next few decades, many of those firefighters present at that historic fire developed various forms of cancer, some members dying directly due to the cancers they had developed. The relation between our profession and cancer has been a hot topic for many years now. Recently, many organizations have focused on the issue and have performed research, developed studies, and have written and published papers on the topic. The purpose of this Health and Safety Minute is to keep our members abreast of the situation and to reinforce many ways in which we can make sure we keep our exposure to these deadly carcinogens to a minimum. Several studies have shown that many forms of cancer occur at higher rates in firefighters compared to that of the general American population, such as testicular cancers, multiple myeloma, lymphoma, and skin cancers, to name a few. Here is a quote from a paper recently released on cancer in the fire service. Today's residential fires have more in common with hazmat events than old-fashioned house fires due to the materials now common in homes, such as plastics and synthetics. Commercial and vehicle fires have highly concentrated toxicants, and dumpster fires contain completely unknown substances and toxicants. The Firefighter Cancer Support Network recommends the following actions that can be taken to reduce exposure to carcinogens. The use of your SCBA from initial attack to the finishing of overhaul on the scene of structure fires, doing gross field decon of your PPE to remove as much of the soot and particulate matter as possible, and using wet naps or baby wipes to remove as much soot as possible from your head, neck, jaw, throat, underarms, and hands immediately and while still on scene. Don't forget to utilize the single gas monitors on the battalion chief's vehicles for hydrogen cyanide and for carbon monoxide as a tool to assist in determining when it is safe to take off your SCBA. Other considerations include changing your clothes and washing them immediately after a fire, showering thoroughly after a fire, and cleaning your PPE, gloves, hood, and helmet immediately after a fire. Our skin is considered the second largest body organ and is highly absorptive. For every 5-degree increase in skin temperature, absorption increases 400%. Heavily contaminated gear can be brought to the hard-working staff at logistics, who will have it washed and inspected for any damage. Additional considerations include not taking contaminated clothes or PPE home or storing it in your personal vehicle. Now, we understand it's hard to do that, especially if you're afloat, but if you're going to, make sure you keep your gear inside your gear bag properly zipped up. Deconning of the fire apparatus interior after fires, keeping your bunker gear out of living and sleeping quarters, stop using tobacco products, and the use of sunscreen or sunblock. On behalf of your training bureau, we sincerely want all of our members to enjoy every day they come to work, and to do so with the utmost safety in mind. But even more than that, we want our crews to enjoy that time after our careers have come to an end, where we can reflect on all the wonderful times, the laughs, the fires we have fought, and the lives we've helped save. To ensure we can do this as long as possible, while as healthy as possible, we must learn from our past so that we are not condemned to repeat it in the future. Be safe out there.
Welcome once again to the January Fire PO, which involves going over our SCBA packs and our bunker gear inspections for the month of January. The intention of this training once again is to give you a way to refamiliarize yourself with some of the changes in the air pack throughout the month of January as we move forward with the changes to the brand new Scott AirPack X3 with the snap change technology and the 5.5 filling. We're going to go over the pack step by step, briefly talk about some of the advancements and changes, and then you'll have the opportunity to get your hands on your own packs and see how you feel about the changes yourself. The first thing we'd like to cover is the difference between the SCBA bottles. Our previous bottles were a 4,500 psi, 45-minute bottle with 66 cubic feet of air. Our new bottles are a 5,500 psi, 66 cubic foot of air and 45-minute bottle. When you hold the bottles side by side, you can instantly see a difference in size. Now the question we've already been asked is, are the bottles lighter? Well, yes and no. The weight of the compressed air inside is constant, whether it's a 55 or 4,500 psi bottle. 66 cubic feet weighs the same no matter what bottle you put it in. So we need to understand that as we breathe down the air in our newer cylinders, the cylinder will become lighter faster. Scott tells us that the size and weight of the new 45-minute bottle is equivalent to Scott's old 30-minute bottle under the 4,500 psi system. That tells us the bottles are shorter, thinner, and empty, have less of a curb weight. So let's jump right into the new bottle. As our previous bottles, it has 66 cubic feet of air. It's an aluminum bottle that's carbon and fiber wrapped. Something new with the bottle itself is this luminescent band now. Our previous bottles did not give off any type of illumination. However, our new ones do. Studies show that most firefighters, when they collapse, will collapse face forward. Our previous air packs gave us no way to illuminate ourselves and show that we were down. Our new air packs plus bottles give us varied ways to actually illuminate and let people know where we are. Secondly, our new bottles have a quick connect. It's a snap-in. Our previous bottles had what was called a SCBA connection, which required you to screw it on and screw it off. With enough muscle strength, you could even unscrew our old bottles under pressure. With the new system and the way that it's designed, once the bottle is pressurized, it cannot be removed until all the pressure comes out of the system. Some people have asked, well, what's the SCBA connection on the side here? This is how we fill the new bottles. It should be said that when we are putting the bottles into the air pack and turning them on for use inside of our air packs, air will flow out of the quick connect only when the bottle is turned on. However, something new with the bottle is when the bottle is being filled at a cascade system or with the squad, the bottle does not have to be turned on anymore, because if you turn the bottle on, the air will come out of the quick connect. So what Scott has done is put a one-way valve in here, so when we charge the new bottles, we'll simply hook up to the SCBA connection, turn on the compressor, open the valves, and fill the bottle. When we're done, turn the valve off, shut down the compressor if you got it running, DC from the SCBA, and you're done. This will decrease the time it takes to fill bottles, as we've eliminated having to open and close every bottle for every fill. The next thing we're going to cover is the actual harness itself. On my right is our old Scott 4.5 dual regulator SCBA harness. On my left is our new Scott 5.5 X3 quick connect SCBA harness. Some of the major differences between the harness involve how the bottle connect and the SIMS units. Beyond that, to the wearer, there's not much of a change. First thing I'd like to point out is the connection. Our previous air packs used a screw-on SCBA connection. Our new air packs have a quick connect. This is going to speed up our process of changing bottles, decrease cross-threading, decrease bottles going out of service. The next thing that's a slight difference on these air packs is how the bottle will actually connect in. Our previous packs had a white snap on the very top that would require loosening or unsnapping to open the bottle. The new ones do not. This is one less moving part for us to break. Additionally, we have to snap the bottle into the base of the air pack and connect to an air supply, where on the new packs, connecting your air supply does secure the bottle to the base of the air pack. Some other major differences you'll see, obviously, as you guys learned in the previous class, that our dual stage regulator has been moved down to the bottom of the pack and been made smaller. This decreases weight and brings the weight to the waist on the air pack and takes the weight off of our shoulders, which will decrease fatigue and make the pack easier for the user. Additionally, you'll notice that the pass alarm speakers have been moved from the lower waist up to about the mid-back to lower back, and they're offset. This design was made by Scott to increase the ability for the sound to be heard and to make the pack more compact and easier for the user to wear. You'll also notice at first glance that the newer pack is more streamlined and cleaned up. This is going to make decon very easy. After incidents, whether it's fire, hazmat, it'll be very simple to wash these down with a truck brush and not have to worry about getting inside all the nooks and crannies like they were on the previous pack. When I turn the packs around, the first thing you'll notice is the SIMS units look different. It should be said that the functions are basically the same, however the locations are slightly different. Also, the digital screen has been eliminated and has been replaced with symbols that will light up for the different scenarios versus giving words to us. We still have our analog gauge, however the new gauge does not need to be illuminated or charged with a flashlight, as the new gauge is lit from the inside with an LED. One other thing we should note as a safety factor is that the Scott buddy breathing hose has been moved from the left side on the old air pack to the new side on the right air pack. So we're used to say left for life, now we're going to say right for rescue. When the buddy breathing pack is opened up, we'll notice that it's identical to what we have now. However, every pack in our system now will be packaged the exact same way versus our old way was 2 or 3 different styles of how this buddy breathing hose was secured to the member. This is going to bring consistency and make it easier for us to use the actual buddy breathing system. When we remove the protective cover, we'll notice nothing has changed. When it comes to changing batteries on the new pack versus the old pack, we'll also notice that the location has changed. In our old packs, we had to change batteries inside of the SIMS unit as well as inside of the speaker. On our new packs, all the batteries are located in one location on the lower right portion of the air pack. Old pack took 3 9-volts in 2 locations. New air pack will take 6 AA's in the same location. To change the batteries, we'll simply use a coin or a key or a large screwdriver to loosen the bolt, and then the bolt can be taken out the rest manually. Inside you'll see 6 batteries that all go in reverse polarity, and you'll be able to see the polarity chart inside the cap. As for the construction of the air pack, all the materials have stayed the same. There's no reason to get into that, as this is a refresher to you. However, one thing that has changed is our connection. We'll notice that we still have the same quick connect coupling, however there is now electronics that will form an electronic bridge when we connect to the regulator. It'll be important to take some care when hooking up in the morning of every shift. However, Scott informs us that this is a very durable type of connection, and if you look inside, there are tracks that keep the prongs from cross-threading or bending each other. The last thing I want to talk about with the air pack is some of the significant changes and advancements in the SIMS unit on the air pack. First, we'll talk about the gauge. We've eliminated the digital gauge. The new gauge is strictly an analog gauge that is self-illuminating. With inside, it has multiple LED lights. Depending on your air status, the gauge will be lit to that color. For example, if you are at your highest level of air, your tank is full, it will illuminate green. If you fall below half, it will illuminate to a yellow. And if you fall below into a low air alarm, which is 33% according to the new NFPA standard, it will illuminate red. Additionally, the new packs are completely sealed. Our previous packs you would actually access to change batteries. Well, as we know now, there are no more batteries located inside the SIMS unit. Because of that, they are completely sealed and 99% waterproof. The electronic boards on the inside are kept inside of a gelatin type resin, which gives shock absorption and waterproofing. This is a huge advantage to us, and it is a new NFPA standard. In our city, in the city of Fort Lauderdale, we do fight many boat fires and work off of docks. And there is a chance of falling into the water and not being noticed by anybody else on scene. While falling in the water, the first thing you'll lose is radio communication. You can now be confident that if you fall into the water, you'll be able to activate your pass alarm and get your signal to the commander's SIMS unit. And they'll be able to determine who's actually missing. Additionally, the mesh technology inside of these units is far more advanced, and the radio frequency is far more advanced than it was in our previous packs. Keep in mind, our previous packs are 15-year-old technology. These systems will actually talk to each other to bounce the signal back to the commander's SIMS unit computer. the chance of falling out of range with the new air packs is much lower than the packs of the past. The next item or items we'll talk about is the regulator and the facepiece. Since a facepiece is a facepiece, let's start with that. When you compare the old facepiece to the new facepiece, the first thing you notice is the size. On the new facepieces, the polymer lens has been extended to give us better peripheral vision. This also allows more light in and will actually give an appearance of clarity or better vision through the mask. The connection point has stayed the same. There's been some slight modification to where the facepiece meets the face. This leads to a better fit and a more consistent fit. The nose cup has been slightly modified for CO2 retention standards, but we're not going to notice that as we wear it as a user. The strap on the top of the head now has a fifth piece. Scott recommends adjusting the top strap and the two side straps to what's comfortable to you and leaving them. You're really only going to adjust the bottom two straps as you wear the mask and take it on and off to tighten your mask. Looking at the front, you have your voice emitter on the left side. This is when you're not using an actual voice amplifier, and Scott recommends if you're going to use the voice emitter with no amplifier, put the microphone right up to the voice emitter. They have moved the diaphragm closer to the facepiece on the inside or to the nose cup, which can give us better transmission of the actual audio we're trying to get out. As for the voice amp side, which will be for all chief officers, hazmat, such, there's been a modification. No longer will it project the amplified sound out to the side. It will actually curve toward the person you're talking to. Understand though, if we're using a cord mic, we do not want to put the cord mic directly against the voice emitter because it is a power unit to a power unit. We must hold it anywhere from 8 to 10 inches away, depending on the strength of the battery, to ensure that our sound does not crossfeed and cause a squeal. The next thing we'll talk about is the regulators. Once again, when you hold them side by side, you don't notice a lot of difference. The new one is a little bit bigger, but that's because it's just a beefier, higher standard regulator than the one of the past. One of the big features that's a change is our heads-up display. As you guys learned in the class for our heads-up display, we have different colors that tell us different things. If our top two green lights are lit during use, we are 75 to 100 psi. If the second light is lit but the top green light goes off, we are at 50 to 75% of our psi or of our starting air supply. If the green lights go off and the amber light comes on and starts to pulse, we are now below half a tank but above the new industry standard of a third, which is low air. When the amber light shuts off and the red light comes on and goes into a rapid pulse of 6 pulses per second, we now know, in addition to our Viber alert, that we've fallen below 33%, which is below 1/3 of the tank, and that's our reminder to get out. This is our new low air alarm standard versus the quarter tank, which was our previous air packs. You'll also notice between the two packs that there has been an extension. This is just for more user comfort and to make the regulators easier for us when it comes to mobility, putting our heads back, moving around, things like that. As we talked before, you have your electronics connection. Because this does have a heads-up display, it must be provided power and information from the air pack to the regulator. Now that we've talked about the components of the air pack, which include the cylinder, the pack itself, the SEMS unit, the regulator, and the mask, let's put the pack in service. First thing we'll do is we'll take our full cylinder, slide it into the air pack, and instead of doing our former CGA connection, we'll simply pop the bottle in and listen for a click. Understand that once this bottle is charged and the pack is put in use, we will not be able to unclick as we can when the bottle is not charged. Scott has built in a safety feature which fires 2 pins into place and holds the bottle securely in the pack when it is in use. Tighten down the cam strap and we're good to go. Just as on our previous packs, when we turn the bottle on, our Viber alert should go off. We'll hear 3 chirps and the pack will go through the self-check. What we're going to look for in the regulator is for all 4 lights to come on, and they should stay solid for approximately 10 seconds. This is ensuring us the pack is going through its self-check. After 10 seconds, you can check your regulator, and you should see 2 green lights because your bottle should be full when you put the pack into service for the first time. Three chirps, our lights flash, and if you look up on the regulator, we should be able to see all the lights illuminated. Our regulator connects as it always has. Red up. Click into place. There's no difference. Negative pressure activates the regulator. And the air saver switches in the front as it always has. That's it. As you can see, turning the pack on is very similar to what we've already been doing in the past. To take the pack out of service, just as we've done before, the bottle will get turned off. We'll bleed out the system, and we'll press the yellow button twice. When we press the yellow button twice, we should hear multiple chirps for the pack to turn off. 2 chirps. If you press the button twice and you hear 3 chirps, this is telling us there is still air in the system and you have not turned off the pass device or disarmed the sender unit. Well, that about wraps up all the information on the new Scott 5.5 air packs. We want to thank you for watching the video and also give a special thanks to those involved in making this purchase possible regarding grants, research, and development. Any questions, please contact the Training and Special Operations Bureau. We're always here to help out.